share my screen. Yeah, you guys see my screen and my cursor?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Good, good, good. All right, let me just bring this down to a single person view and move it over. We'll just go right down the line here. Let's start with Dave.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear you were in Tombstone.
Yes.
Oh,
Took a trip to Tombstone. Had a wonderful time. What a great place that is.
Yeah.
And I took a lot of pictures, and this time around I processed all of them in the Be Funky digital alteration program, and the results, I really like what happened.
Yeah.
Sandy, this has opened up a whole new frontier for me, exploring the digital alteration.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so much fun to see the final rendering, and it's quite artistic. So here is a picture of like a scarecrow skeleton wearing a flower hat.
Mm.
And I just took a regular photo in color and processed it, and I'm really happy with it. It's so exciting, this new program I'm starting to explore.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a couple of skeletons sitting up on a stagecoach, withering in the sunlight, and that's what this is. It kind of looks like a scarecrow.
Yeah.
But the processing really rendered it up to an art quality, I think.
Yeah.
So I'm real happy.
Rendering time, is it pretty close to real-time feedback, or you have to wait a while, or how's that work?
No, it's about 10 seconds.
Oh, nice.
The little dial goes and it says, final touches, and then it appears, and it's really a surprise, and it's so exciting.
Nice.
It's opened up a whole world for me in photography. I want to go out and shoot everything now and render it in a digital program.
Yeah. Do you have variations you can do? I got the link, but I haven't explored it yet, so I'm asking.
There's many variations.
Mm-hmm.
So far, I've just used the graphic novel function. That's it so far.
Mm-hmm.
So they're consistent.
And
this whole group.
Yeah, so you have a kind of a body of work going. Are there some variables in that particular look, or does it just spit out what it spits out?
It keeps it within that parameter, that artistic choice. But
Okay.
there's many choices like Lightroom,
all right,
Photoshop.
One thing you might want to try, and you may already know the answer, if you render the same image twice, does it come with the same results, or does it give you a new result?
I haven't tried that.
You
mean there's a randomizer? I don't know.
Yeah, maybe, because a lot of AI programs will do that.
It definitely moves the background back and diffuses it into this sort of painterly design. And this was a full color picture, so it kind of subdued some of the flowers.
Yeah, I like the way it pushed the background more into a muted, less obtrusive look. That's nice.
Yeah, real happy with that.
I have a question.
Yes.
My screen, I'm seeing you guys, but I don't have anything on my screen. It's blank.
You can't see the sharing?
Oh.
Right. So should I hit sharing?
No, that would share your screen. Is anybody else having that issue?
No, I see the photo.
All right.
Clearly.
Jim, try logging out and coming back in.
Okay.
Try that.
Okay. See you in a while.
Okay, see you in a bit. All right. So let's move on to the next one here.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of took a photo expedition into the famous Birdcage Theater. And that place is just loaded with old relics and artifacts of the Wild West time, 1881, I believe it was founded. It's so much fun in there to look at everything. And this place is reputed to be the most haunted place in America, if not the world. and I really recommend everybody to go to the Birdcage Theater.
Yeah.
So it was very dimly lit in there. So I had some issues with lighting, but I took a lot of pictures. This one is outdoors, of course. Sandy, you're back on the other one.
Oh, I went back. Sorry about that.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying.
So
to
I had a
spot
bit of a
my-
challenge with the dim light. That's why they might look a little fuzzy to your eyes.
Mhm.
But again, I'm really happy with the rendering of this graphic novel program. It's really cool. This, of course, is
Yeah, I'm interested in
an old coffee grinder,
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
and I lined up the roll top desk to,
Mm.
you know, to that the lines heading in, the leading lines, so to speak.
Looks nice. Looks like the part of the roll top came out of its track there.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, you saw that. Yeah. Good eye, Sandy. It did. It's come off its track.
Gotta say,
And it kind of helps the design of the wheel.
Mhm.
yeah, you get a little extra line there and a little rounder.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna try and eliminate something that's showing over this. It may go back to the other image again. Let's see. Nope, it stayed. Okay, good. All right.
Sandy,
Yeah.
on this one, I think if I had the processing software like Topaz and everything, Lightroom that you guys have, I'd probably remove this white square at the top
Yeah.
left. Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that draws your eye up there. What do you think, Sandy?
Yeah.
I don't have the processing to do that. What do you think? Should that be?
Yeah, I would definitely eliminate that.
Yeah, that's
And
what I
maybe
was
even
thinking.
pull through some of this original stuff if it's in focus slightly, just to make it a little more readable.
Yeah.
You could do by sandwiching the original behind this in Photoshop and with a mask, just revealing the type.
I was using a monopod,
Mhm.
but still there was a little camera shake causing some out of focus a little bit.
Yeah, kind of hard to tell with this particular theme. So
Yeah.
it says I'm signed out again. You guys can still hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know why that comes up, but it seems almost every meeting it tells me I'm signed out, and it just keeps going. So whatever. As long as it works, I'm not gonna try and fix it. Okay, cool. Well, yeah. I think maybe the style helps hide the fact that you might have had a little shake there without
Yeah,
seeing
it does.
hard to tell. Okay, let me make this a little bigger. Nice.
Okay, folks, down in the basement, under the floorboards of the Birdcage Theater, there's all this old junk. And there was this wonderful kerosene lamp with the design work. Again, you know, my vision or my mind is a little ahead of my digital camera skills. In the dim light, it really didn't focus sharply. But again, Sandy, the art program kind of adjusts that a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it bothers your eyes to look at this, that's why. You know, it was dim. I need to find the button on my camera that says low light. You know, and I haven't found that yet.
Yeah, or has a stabilizer or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I need to find that.
This a little bit over here, you know. Other than that, I think it's doing pretty well. And maybe here, but you know, the main focus is here, and you're getting a little bit, you know, in and out. I don't really mind it.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
I'll mention something very odd. For the longest time, there was a grenade underneath this kerosene lamp on the dirt floor. And it was there for so long. And I was looking for it because I was going to photograph it as a point of interest. and I could not find it. And I'm thinking the proprietor may have removed it
Mm.
as a
Hopefully
threatening
it was a
object.
proprietor,
Yeah,
not someone
yeah.
else.
But I thought I'd mention that. There's so many neat things. You can see the whiskey barrels. There was so many relics back behind there.
Mm.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see Jim Bowman's back on. Are you seeing the images now, Jim?
Yeah, I'm fine now. Thanks.
Excellent. Cool.
Good.
All right. Good. All right, let's continue.
Uh-huh.
Huh.
And as we emerged from the Birdcage Theater exit through the gift store, I saw this image, right? Exit to the gift store. This is a remnant of an old building that's attached to the Birdcage Theater, but it's been destroyed.
Mm.
And it's like an ancient artifact or a remnant ruin. And I just saw this image and I snapped it. Sandy, a little bit of cropping at the very top. There was a security camera, which added nothing to the image. And at the very bottom, there was the roof line from the hotel across the street.
Gotcha. Yeah.
But the lighting was perfect and the cloud was so cool. So I'm so happy with the way it rendered it. The program rendered this into like a painting.
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of either Tulum or Chichen Itza or one of those.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Older.
Yeah.
This is,
It's interesting. Behind the cloud, it looks like a shadow, as if
yeah.
it was against a painted backdrop or something.
Right. Well, the program creates all that.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're getting an aura here too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it's, I guess it's treating different edges with either lights or darks.
I'm super happy with this picture.
Cool.
And one more from the Birdcage. This is the stairway leading down to the basement where the famous 8-year gambling session occurred with Doc Holliday, Bat Masterson. All of the guys were down there gambling for 8 years, millions of dollars. Worse. And the people throw money on the gambling table. It's really fun. The basement is so awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Anyways, this is the stairwell. And Sandy, if you look at the top left, I wanted to get your opinion. You see there's just a little bit of information of the banister up there. Sandy, can you hear me?
Yeah. You mean in here?
Yeah. I cropped that down to remove that. And then I thought that these bars were too heavy for the rest of the weight of the images. So I went back and left that little airspace on the, I thought you might catch that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Maybe just a hair more, because here it almost looks like it's floating, unless
Yeah.
that's your intent.
I know that's a problem up there, and I did crop it, but it didn't work. So I know that's an issue.
Yeah. Maybe you can just put a little more back if you still have it. I don't know if you can recrop.
No, that's the extent of the original image.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then let it be. Well, you don't have any post-processing. I'm thinking maybe you can darken this down a little bit so your eye doesn't go up here so much, but
Yeah.
that might be the only solution. So that would behoove you maybe to get over to the camera club and start watching some YouTubes and go over there and maybe start playing with Lightroom or
Yeah. Well, Sandy,
or something.
you know, I want to thank you so far. I've learned so much. Participating in this SIG
Good.
has really moved me forward, and it's really exciting. And these are the first images I'm beginning with digital alteration, and I'm really excited. It's really fun.
Yeah.
It's been great to your guidance has moved me forward so far.
Okay. Now another option you might want to do is try getting I don't know if they do trials or not for, say, I'm having a senior moment here. Luminar Neo. Maybe you could do a trial for that and kind of see what it does for you. And then there, and then maybe Photoshop. I know they do a trial or
Do
Photoshop
they?
Elements, so you can try some of their filters to
Uh-huh.
get a little bit more of this kind of stuff, and then start learning about layers and color correction and other things as we
Yeah.
go, and you'll be able to pick that up.
Yeah.
Now, in the fall session, we're going to be meeting at the club again, so I'll probably be doing a few sessions where you guys can bring in your laptops, and if you want to go over stuff and have me over your shoulder helping you out, we can probably like a lab environment,
Uh-huh.
a few times and help you guys out on things you might need extra help on. Anyway, let's see how that goes. Okay, I think that's it for you then, right?
Thank you.
Thank you. Good start, and sorry you had to miss your trip, but again,
Oh yeah,
always
bummer,
next year.
big bummer.
And you did get over to your bird cage there.
Yes.
Yeah. So all right, Jim
Oh,
Bowman.
yeah.
You're
Well,
picked up and ready to go.
This is more water sports and so forth.
Mm.
So Michigan stuff. Although this is across the pond over and on the other side on Milwaukee side, but that's kind of just before dawn, like just the sunset and just low light. Everything was looking kind of like I like to see it, which is just this soft light.
Mm.
Yeah, the glow from those sails and the reflections.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Nice one.
Yeah, I like the way the background really drops out. You lose a
Yeah.
lot of information, so it doesn't compete.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works out very well. Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, this is across the way. This is just a kind of a spot where you see a lot of white-tailed deer up here, and they're really all over the place. And this is near the water, and just put a small painterly look. I think it
Mhm.
was finger painting,
Yeah.
and just a gentle sort of touch, but cropped it a little bit, but nothing much, just left
Yeah.
it much as it is.
Is
Yeah.
that a watercolor choice?
It's
Watercolor?
like, yeah, it's kind of like a watercolor
Mm.
place.
Uh-huh.
Mm.
Looks like a watercolor. I mean,
Yeah.
in a wonderful way.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, we had a couple of these guys or gals visiting us yesterday morning, chewing up the bushes as usual.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Everybody loves to hate them.
Yeah, exactly. It was a pair of them though, and they
Mm.
would look at you in unison. It was kind
Mhm.
of all right.
They're getting overrun.
Yeah.
I guess.
So this is,
Oh,
an oil painting treatment
okay. Yeah.
Mhm.
over just, but left the center, center of the main subject there. I left it kind of natural,
Oh,
as it was
okay.
photographed.
Mm.
Kind of punch that out.
Mhm.
Yeah, to keep the realism.
Right.
Nice.
Mm.
Yeah, that works out well. Of course, everything works in 3s or 5s or any odd number. So
Mhm.
for your main guys, that works out nice. Looks good.
On this one, Jim, I'm going to say hello, Vincent Van Gogh.
Right.
Maybe just tone down this corner area just a hair.
Yeah.
So it doesn't compete with the rest.
Or just maybe put a vignette.
Yeah. Yeah, but I
Mhm.
wouldn't do the whole thing. I would maybe just do this corner, which you
Mm.
could do with a brush.
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah.
And then just, locally do it. I mean, here we'll just do a quickie. So basically, we'll go to camera raw, favorite little tool here. And up here is your local mask. We're just going to grab a brush And I would just make it a pretty big one. And I would turn off auto mask so it's not trying to pick up things and get tough, and just kind of do that with it. Okay. And then you could start with maybe the highlights and exposure.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, just
Oh.
you know. And then if you take the flow rate down, you can selectively, darken just by clicking over and over again. Areas you want to maybe just separate out a little bit. So basically we're just burning the areas we want to make darker. There you go.
Right.
Yeah, so something like that. I think that might be just enough to give it some more depth.
Yeah. It's good.
Yeah, so just a brush rather than a whole vignette. I think we'll do it. Alrighty.
Wow.
So we
Yeah.
went to the Indian powwow, which was up in northern Michigan, over last weekend, and whole bunch of, there were just hundreds and hundreds of Indians doing their thing. They get out and dance, and they drum, and I've got some drum pictures I'll show you. But I just liked the movement that was going on, and so I
Very nice.
And the colors.
Excellent composition.
Yeah.
My Indian's gonna look so bad.
Mm.
I brought an Indian today.
There you
Oh
are.
my God, it needs help.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, Jim, did you take away some of the texture effect on the face of the dancer, or because it seemed a little more clear than, say, the background to the right?
I cleared out some
yeah.
of the background. I mean the body itself, his legs and his arms and his face, and then let everything else fall. By the filter of, it was an oil painting filter, and carved out the face and legs and so forth.
Yeah, I think that works much better. You get more detail of the face and the whole body. Makes it nicer.
Yeah, it turned out pretty good.
Yeah, super cool. Really nice.
Yeah. So Dave, explore in your online program to see if there's like a restore or an erase or somewhere where you can take some of the effect off in certain areas selectively and do it maybe subtly in stages. So instead of doing it 100%, you can do it like 20, 30, 50 and bring it back and explore that. I don't know if it does that, but if it does, that's something definitely.
Is that what Jim did here on the body?
That's what he brought.
So you peeled back the oil painting effect.
Yeah,
so it's
in other words, you put the
fleshy.
effect on there, and then you bring back the original with a mask.
Really?
Basically, hiding the oil painting from the original in the areas you don't want it.
Right.
I'm not sure if your program does that since it's an online thing, but
I'm not sure. I
if it
gotta
does, it's something
check it
to
out.
explore. If not, then I guess at some point you'll need to step up to the other ones. All right, let's go to this next one here.
Wow.
That's nice.
Yeah, so there was the guys there. Who can tell who's the odd man out on this one?
China cat.
China.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, right away.
Yeah. Yeah, there were some other shots that were kind of interesting, but I felt like this one was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
But I put just wanted something different. I wanted realism, but I wanted that kind of old-timey, far away look. And so I just put a HDR filter, and it looks really nice, I think,
A little grainy.
Yeah, I like the grain.
Yeah.
I want to explore getting rid of this mic stand here.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh.
Yeah. then it would really start looking older. Although you got
Jim,
a good
did
amount of people back here. Go ahead.
Right. What did you ask, Dave?
I didn't want to interrupt. I couldn't hear Sandy talking. Um, Jim, did you get any spiritual skunk eye from the Indians that kind of don't capture my soul with your black box?
No.
You know, they don't like cameras, you know.
Well, yeah, some of them do and some of them don't. This was an Ottawa and Chippewa gathering,
Mhm.
and they are somewhat more assimilated. This is kind of what they call a woodland group, and I don't know what difference it makes, the woodland people, but they don't have that same prohibition. Not like in Arizona, no way. You're not going to take anybody.
Oh, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
I didn't know that. Thanks for telling me. They don't like, no,
you
she
are.
says no.
You are. You go
It
to the Wax
depends.
powwow over there at the mission. I got a bazillion pictures. They're there at a powwow. Mostly, yes, they gather with different tribes and things, but they don't mind, especially if you ask them for a single pose. They're there to, part of the reason is for pictures, for people to take pictures, to share their culture with the
Yeah.
public.
Well,
So
that's
you can't, I mean,
where-
don't generalize Arizona.
yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just saying.
Well,
Go to the Wax powwow. It's in March.
yeah, that's true. But I think what I was referring to was mostly the Yaquis are absolutely any photograph is forbidden. But the Papago or Otam, they are selective, and in a powwow setting, everything is like open. But you don't walk up to just anybody in any setting and just take a picture of them. They don't like it.
No, I'm not talking
Again,
about on the res. I'm talking about in a powwow strictly.
Right. Yeah, right. No, for sure. Absolutely.
Okay. Good to know. Let's move on.
Good picture. You got a picture. You did it. You got it.
Looks like we got
Oh,
Jim. Let's start with the single and we'll go from there.
wow.
I don't know why this one's by itself, but just
There we go.
move this guy.
Wow.
We'll just take this one and see if I can stretch it out. Yeah, there we go. So all that extraneous stuff is in the way. Come on. Yeah. There we go. Okay.
So these are archival. There's our travel photos from Oaxaca, Mexico. I really like Oaxaca. It's a great place, good food, nice people, friendly, very friendly people. There was a lot of this was around Christmas, and there were a lot of parades and dancing and so forth. This one in front of the church, and they typically always have a basket on their heads. I use a slower shutter speed here, kind of when she's twirling her skirt, trying to purposely get some blur in there, but at the same time keep her face fairly clear.
Such wonderful color.
Yeah.
It's really nice to look at.
Yeah.
And clear.
Yeah. Is that the top of your frame where this?
I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, I shot this in 2017.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. I probably could recrop it. I don't remember.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking maybe of since you don't have it all and you want more interest on her, maybe you could just even come down to something like this. And
that looks good. So when I shot these, and I haven't reprocessed any of them, I didn't have any denoise or neo or anything like that. So, and my Photoshop skills weren't that great. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's
I could
always fun to go
reprocess a lot
back.
of them, probably do better.
Yeah, every time I pull up an old image, the first thing I think is, what was I thinking when I processed this? Let's start over.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that might help it out a little bit. And you know,
Right, yeah.
you've got it here, so it kind of
Right.
reiterates what's on top of her head. So I think that might work out for you. Okay.
James, I just finally noticed she's doing this swirling dance while balancing a tall basket of flowers on her head. That's quite
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. Yeah.
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 All right.
Nice photo.
Get to the group. Literally.
And
Beautiful.
typically there's like neighborhoods will go together and they'll put on a parade. There's kind of spontaneous a lot of times. These young ladies they will be having baskets on their head shortly, but they're just kind of pre-parade, kind of posing for a shot here.
Mm.
The dresses are pretty phenomenal. These are some of the more they're colorful but plain dresses, but some of the women will spend over a year sewing fine needlework, sewing their dresses and so forth. It's beautiful textile work. It's just amazing.
Mm-hmm. James, did you use any kind of facial enhancement? Their skin is so soft and glowing. They have wonderful, beautiful faces.
Like I say, I was at pretty primitive Photoshop
Really?
skills in 2017. So
it's a straight shot, pretty much.
pretty much, yeah.
Nice, beautiful.
I would think about maybe burning some of these lighter areas down just a little bit.
Okay.
And then, yeah, that might be enough to take care of that background lightness competing with them. I don't know if I'd go this dark, but maybe just a little bit here.
Okay.
Yeah. And then maybe this sign and
yeah, get rid of that
down there. Yeah. Yeah. These are fine, but that seems to kind of conflict.
A little generative fill would do wonders for that.
Yeah, it could. Okay.
So this is a festival that occurs on December the 23rd. It's called Noche de la Rabinos. It's the Night of the Radishes.
Oh, I see him.
This is Radish Jesus with a crown of thorns there. And it's all made out of radishes. Some of the radishes weigh up to 6 pounds.
Wow.
And there's a big competition with prize money, and there's all kinds of sculptures, a lot of biblical scenes, different things, angels and so forth. And it's pretty cool, pretty fascinating. And also they do some things with corn husks and stuff too. But it's called the Night of the Radishes, and it's kind of a big deal. So yeah, all made of radishes.
Then do they eat the sculptures at the end of the day? Yeah.
It lasts. They don't last very long, so it's like about a 6-hour thing, and then it's over.
Yeah. And what look like flowers along there, are those radishes that are?
Yeah, those are radishes made to look like flowers.
Yeah.
Wow. That took a lot of work.
Super huge radishes. So you can see I kept that woman in there for perspective, so you could kind of get the idea of the size of this sculpture.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Again, you probably want to emphasize this a little more. So I'd work on lights and darks just to bring in, now that you are more aware of doing selective filtering and so on. I would probably start with just maybe let's see if it selects subject. I would be curious. No, that doesn't work. So what I would do is just get a big brush again and let's make it 100% and just kind of just catch this area here. All right. And then get rid of what you don't want real quick. All right. So I would probably see if maybe we can make it just a little brighter, not losing detail and maybe a little clarity. Just to, yeah, pop that up a little bit. Maybe, yeah, just a dash of exposure. So basically you're going from there to there. And then I would take these highlights in these other areas and do the opposite. I would knock them down a bit. And
Right.
I think you'd be right here. Okay.
Right.
All right.
And my other favorite radish sculpture was the devil. It was a really evil looking radish devil. So,
Is that natural or did you?
Wow.
Yeah.
so I was walking through the park and I saw this girl. I think she either was going to or had been to her king. So how do you pronounce it? Not
Quinceañera.
quinceañera.
Uh-huh.
Quinceañera.
Anyway, I said, "Hey, can I take your picture?" There was a bar across the street that was painted blue, and so I just kind of positioned her with the wall of the bar in the background there to get that blue, and took that shot in the park. So yeah,
That's amazing.
Yeah, nice combination.
Yeah. You're
Now
gonna-
my eyes zeroed in on that fang immediately.
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, I think you just mentioned the radish devil and she's the radish vampire. This is a beautiful picture. It really is. She gave you a nice shot when she smiled at you.
Yeah, she was very friendly. She didn't speak any English at all, and my Spanish is not real great. So, but yeah, she was very cooperative.
Were any of you guys wrestling fans when you were younger?
I'm a wrestling fan
No.
right now.
Well, but there's a really old guy. His name was Freddie Blassie, and he actually filed his teeth into fangs like that so he could bite people. He would bite people in the ring.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this
James.
shot was there was a big parade, and she was in the kind of the middle of a lot of people, and I was able to catch her eye, and I just kind of motioned with my camera, and she said yes, and so I took her picture, and the light was horrible. There was no
Horrible.
light really, and then so I just did the best I could with it. So
Yeah.
but she had a very beautiful dress.
Beautiful.
And, yeah, I just thought she was very attractive. So, and then I darkened the background a little bit. So,
Gorgeous pictures.
Yeah. Quite
Wonderful.
nice.
So you got her to pop and bring your eye right in there. Good for you. Yeah, that works out nice. Thanks.
thank you.
Good job on that run. Beautiful.
All right.
Do not show my Indian.
No, gotta see it. We gotta see it.
Because I got an idea.
Now we have to see it.
I actually put it up there because I needed suggestions, because the background, I did this for the mono group tomorrow, and it turned out wonderful. But I did the best I could on that background across the top. The green was a bush, but the rest was a building, and it looked crappy. I spent literally hours on trying to clone things out and disappear things, and oh my God. So I guess one of the things I could do is one of the things you guys did with this is the color one. Like I said, the black and white one is going to be more impressive tomorrow. But so tell me what to do.
Black and
Thank you.
white.
All right. Well, the first thing is, what's the most important thing in this photograph?
His face.
Exactly. And it's the darkest part of him.
Yeah.
You keep going over here. I mean, it's an okay tattoo, but you're getting away from the person himself. So what I would do is I would darken this down a little bit, and I'd open up his face a little bit.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's actually lightened.
Yeah.
It was his face, and the shadows and light were really weird.
Yeah.
Because he was partially under a tent. Oh, yeah, that's what I also took out a tent.
Yeah, and then maybe either crop this or darken it down.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's competing against.
I didn't,
this too.
yeah, could you do that and see what it looks like?
Yeah, well, first let's crop and just see how that looks.
Because I cut a lot off as it was, but that could be the
Yeah.
answer.
Yeah.
That might work, but
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, absolutely.
brings you closer.
yeah.
Yeah,
so then
Lori, you're submitting a black and white version of this to Wendell's class?
yeah,
I guess. Mhm.
Uh-huh.
and I really like it, so hopefully,
all right,
Okay.
so in
hopefully it'll
Photoshop,
look better.
yeah, in Photoshop, Lori, I would take this local adjustment and again with a brush, although you could identify the person and kind of work on different parts of him. Let's see what that does. Sometimes that's easier. So that's the facial skin, it's the body skin. Yeah, those two might be enough to start.
Oh,
Huh.
Right, so we can get those two, and then let's see.
I didn't know that existed.
Yeah, it's there. All right, so we want to do separate ones. So let's look at that. We'll start with that. So this first one, I would probably start with the face. Okay, because that's what we're trying to achieve here. And let's see if we add a little bit of white and open the shadows just a little without losing and making the blacks look too milk. That might be enough. Now, if you want to add to it and take around the rest of this, you have this add and subtract going on here. So if you hit add, you can take a brush and just kind of, just brush that in.
wow.
All right, maybe just a little bit on the hand. That's probably enough. All right, let's go back to this one. I don't think we need that one. Let's just delete it. So these three little buttons here will give you a menu, and here's delete. So we'll just get rid of that. Now, I want to do a new one and kind of work on his tattoo here. So I'm doing it with a brush. And again, I'm just going to kind of paint it in there. And where it spills over, we hold down the Option key. That'll give you the ability to erase where it kind of goes over things you don't want to affect. Let's just make this a little smaller. There we go. Okay. And on here, we want to take those highlights and bring them down. No, too much because it's going to get dirty here. Maybe we'll play with the exposure. But really slight. I'm guessing maybe a little less contrast and keep the highlights up because you don't want to get too flat. Let's see what.
Oh, you had it there.
There you go, adding a little black.
Yeah.
That might be enough.
Mm-hmm.
To
Yeah,
see.
you don't want to lose his ethnicity, his skin.
Right. Yeah, so you
You can see the shadows and light I was playing with at the bottom.
If you mouse over the icon, you'll see where the mask is, and then if you want to see what it's doing, you can turn this on and off to get it before and after.
Yeah, cut the highlight down.
Yeah, which is helpful. And yeah. Now,
Sandy, what is there a mask on the back of his neck still? It looks really diffused.
No.
That's the way it was.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there is. There is. So maybe we want to get rid of some of that. So if we go back to here, do subtract with the brush. And then take the flow down. Yeah, we can darken that back up. Good catch. There you go. Maybe pull the flow up a little more. Yeah, that's a little better.
Oh, super much better.
Yeah, and then
Does that make sense? Super much better, yeah.
and then this guy, maybe you might want to go back to here and darken this down a little bit. You know, just keep the flow rate down a little. So you don't want to go too dark.
What
This
actually is flow rate, Sandy?
flow rate is kind of like the opacity.
Oh, okay,
It's just different term for it.
yeah.
Yeah, so instead of like here, if it's 100%, it's just gonna put it all in there. But if you want to just kind of feather it in there nice and light, you know, then like say I want to just tickle that, then you just lower the flow rate, but you'll get a better result. So basically that's where you started and that's where we're at.
Mm.
And I think that helps a lot.
Just those subtle changes make a big difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then get out of the masking, which is over here. Just turn that off by going back up to your regular edits. Then you could do it like global if you want. Now that's a little more balanced. So maybe overall we bring the highlights down just a little bit. And maybe add just a little bit of white back. So when you bring the highlights down, you're going to get more detail in the highlights, but if they get too dark, you can counteract it by brightening it up with white. And then let's see if clarity makes any sense. Maybe just a dash of clarity. Oh, I would probably put the clarity mostly on his face.
Mhm.
Go back here and open this up and find the face, which is this one. We can go back here and come down and just add a dash of clarity back. Maybe a little less. And we can also sharpen him up with a little texture there. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I think that would be enough. So, there you go. So,
Great.
Wow, that's great.
Now,
L-
as
Lo-
long as that took you to do,
before and after.
imagine you know what I did to take out the dented junk. So anyway, that was super. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Sure.
Lori,
Yes.
I'm trying to read what I'm seeing, and it appears that he has to hold the headdress in his teeth.
No, I think he
Is
was
that
just
what's
thinking,
happening? Huh?
I think he was thinking, it was like, I call it concentration. And he was getting ready, he was going to go on and perform soon. And
Oh, so he's just strapping it on, kind of, not holding it in his teeth.
I think he's just kind of pondering, like
Mhm.
concentrating.
Mhm.
I'm not sure he's even holding it, but could be.
Yeah, looks like he hasn't set it up yet because it's pretty loose.
Because I'm pretty sure that strap probably
Mhm.
goes under his chin.
Yeah, okay.
Mm.
Just
Yeah,
wondering what
I
I'm
don't know.
seeing.
I'm not an expert. We skipped
Okay.
one, I think. Before the Indian.
Wow.
Oh, Poopies. I sent the wrong one in.
Oh,
Okay.
Took out all the junk sticking out. So,
All right.
uh,
Kind of curious about that. So we'll skip it.
yeah, I took it all out.
Good for you. That would be my suggestion.
Sorry. Come tomorrow. Anyway, this was at Saturday Lake, and I really didn't do much to this other than take out some noise and a little sharpen, and because like I even left the little cobwebs in and stuff, and
Mhm.
that was pretty much it. I just liked the way uh the side water was kind of streaky. Those are reflections, I guess, of trees.
hmm.
So I don't know. I mean, I could have made it asymmetrical because of the difference in the shadows, but I kind of like this. It's still semi-asymmetrical with, kind of still balanced somehow. I don't know. I liked it.
What do you think about coming in tighter? And I
Yeah,
know
it
some of
could-
this is kind of precious, but maybe we could just kind of Yeah. Oops. Use this thing because if I miss it, wants to start over again. No, that might be enough.
Yeah, there you go. That's a little bit
Yeah.
of the asymmetrical thing I was thinking of.
Oh,
Mhm.
Yeah. Mhm.
brings that more into view.
Yep.
Yeah, perfect.
Hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
A bridal titmouse.
mm.
Is that a pyrocanthus
Yes.
or kind of berry tree?
Yeah, that's a pyracantha, yes.
Yeah.
It's the one, it's one of the ones up in Madeira Canyon. I think it was the first one near the trash can. I don't know.
Oh, right.
Yeah, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
This one was from, I think, 2017. And it actually was used as I submitted it, it was used as a calendar cover.
Oh, yeah,
Nice.
that's nice.
Mhm. But I had shown it, so I thought I would see if you had any
Mm.
further suggestions.
Anybody?
Well, mm.
Probably darken this down here or get rid of,
Yeah,
you know, same over here. Maybe darken that up a little bit.
okay.
Um,
That's what, when you think of 2017, just like somebody else said,
right. Yeah.
it's before you know what you're doing. We're
Right.
much better.
Yeah.
We're much better, 5 years later.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Maybe with photo AI or one of the motion
yeah.
sharpening, we got to get rid of some of that motion blur on him.
So there's one at the top. I think if you're, I don't know what you did with it there, Sandy. Above the Indian,
Oh, did I lose one?
there'd be one more.
Go back and look.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is.
Oh,
Oh, there we go. Okay.
that's
I don't know
impressive.
why they're
Yeah.
opening separately like that, but we'll get this guy going. All right.
Lori, do you shoot color and then convert it to black and white?
Oh, yeah.
You do.
I mean, I
Mm.
have the ability. I think we all have the ability in our
Yeah.
cameras, but
Uh-huh.
Yeah, if you want a preview on the more advanced cameras, you can set a style that looks like black and white, and they'll give you a kind of a monochrome look
Mhm.
if you want to compose that way. But it does shoot in RGB no matter what.
Mm.
Now, is
Like
this
that.
full frame, or do you have more? Or,
for me,
yeah,
I have mirrorless, but it's not full frame.
so there's more left and right and bottom maybe or top. On
This was one Saguaro, and I don't know. I just like the crop. It's not just your typical. Anybody kind of can take a picture of a Saguaro,
Mhm.
and just thought I'd do something different.
Mhm.
And this is actually got accepted into the next exhibit at TCA, so I was
Mm.
pretty happy.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Sandy, what you're thinking to the tops here on the right and left?
Yeah, I'm thinking maybe, the loss of this and the fact that it's tangent right on the edge there kind of bothers me.
Well, I needed it a certain size, right, to frame.
Right.
Oh,
And so I tried to crop that side the same as the other side while still getting the middle, what do you call them? The middle cactus part arm straight straight.
Mhm.
So it was pretty straight anyway when I took it. But it's a 1620 crop. So because if you're gonna frame it, I don't do my own framing, so I don't, I need to do a standard kind of crop.
Well, that explains it.
Yeah,
I would probably leave a little more air over here. But
sure.
even if it is this way, maybe if you clone this guy and this guy out, it would leave enough air to kind of justify it. Maybe you could even take one of these guys and copy it and put it in here. So it's got some shape, but Is it
Mhm.
just going off the page like that? Just a thought.
Well,
Sure.
if you're going to frame it, are you going to use a matte?
Yeah,
So it's going to come in even more.
yeah, I've done, no, not really. Well, just
Wait a
maybe,
minute,
maybe a
wait a minute.
teeny,
Back up
teeny,
a
tiny
second.
bit.
If
I
you
framed
can-
it, I had it double framed, so it's got about 3/8 of an inch of black, kind of inside, and then a 3-inch white frame, matte, and then a uh, black metal, frame.
All right, let's back up a minute here. If you're using a mat, you can crop this any shape you want as long as the
Yeah.
mat fits the frame. So
Yeah.
you may want to reconsider
They
recomposing.
wouldn't print it. I
crop.
couldn't get it printed any other size, Sandy. I
Hmm.
could have printed it larger, but then it
Well, you could have printed it however you wanted out of kilter on that piece of paper and made it fit on the paper and then mat it from there. You follow what I'm saying?
yeah, except I didn't do it.
No, you didn't.
I had it commercially done.
But
No,
I'm
I
saying consider that in the future.
Yeah.
okay.
Don't let your print size dictate your cropping.
No, it was commercially done. That's why I
Yeah.
was saying I could only do,
No, not really.
like I was
Basically,
trying to get something matted, I
Yeah,
don't know, 24 by
yeah.
16 or something, and they wouldn't do it. They couldn't do it 16, so they had to change it to
Hmm.
24 by 18. I think that's more more.
Right. So,
And
so maybe in the 24 by 18, you could have done a 16 by 20 with some air around it that's just plain paper,
Mhm.
and then matted it
Mhm.
the way you wanted to fit the frame and go from there. I
Right.
learned a long time ago, you don't want to let the paper or the frame or however it's going to be displayed conflict with your vision. So
Right.
you get around it, and that's one of them. Just my point.
Yeah, well, that's good advice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Okay. So, by the way, Laurie, I'm gonna play a little sequence. Laurie had asked a question about fine art, and I know early on they defined it and everything else. I think the more important issue, other than what is fine art, is how do you get a really good picture? And I've got a few things at the end I want to show you guys if you'll stick with me. But let's get the rest of these here.
Thanks.
Susan, there were 3 this week, or did I miss some?
3.
Okay.
Wow. Fun.
And that I think always thought was kind of a fun photo. That was when we lived in Orange County, in California. A lot of times we go up to LA, either Hollywood and Vine or to Melrose.
Mhm.
And that was off Melrose because you find some really weird stuff, weird people.
Yeah.
I like the people
Gross.
watch Melrose.
And I find it entertaining. I'm a people watcher and I love that.
Yeah, it's a good place to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't remember doing that much to the photo. It was taken, I don't know, I want to say 5-6 years ago. I just liked the photo.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's fun.
But did you create this, or was this
No,
painted
that
on a
was-
window? Or
If you kind of look on it, there's like a wrought iron fence
Uh-huh.
and it's a thing leaning on this fence, somehow attached to the fence.
oh,
Hmm.
And that's the way it came out of the camera for the most part.
uh-huh.
I would
And I
consider
just thought, I mean, it's weird. I just like the photo.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Me too.
I
Yeah.
thought it was fun.
Yeah, I wonder if
Is that Tina Turner?
No, I have no idea who it was. It
Mhm.
was just, I
I
mean, it's
consider
like
it
you run it. I have one picture somewhere. They took an old Volkswagen Beetle and
Mhm.
they had it like it was coming through a brick wall, except 3 stories up. I mean,
Hmm.
this is the kind of stuff they do.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's get rid of that cloud up there. That's kind of bothering me. But yeah, I'd consider really getting in on this.
Yeah. Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that sky kind of detracts. Okay.
That's a good image.
Yeah.
It's exciting.
Yeah.
And this one, I was just playing around with the distortion thing in Photoshop. I'd gone up to recently to Hobby Lobby and spent probably more than what I should and bought a bunch of stuff. So I was just, plus I had this 55 millimeter lens that I got for really cheap. So I wanted to see what it could do. And that's what came out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Could probably pull these highlights down a little bit, maybe even, you know, the way we did with the brush, darken this area a little bit so your eyes come down here. And then
Yeah, some of it
maybe even
came out a little
selectively-
over,
Yeah.
you
And maybe
know.
selectively make some of these flowers lighter and darker to, you know, give some depth there. Yeah, I think that would be helpful.
So these are flowers on a window or on a glass table looking down? How did
They're
you
just-
do this?
I put them in a straw basket, you know, like you put
Uh-huh.
fruit or whatever.
Oh.
And when I took the photo, I didn't like the basket. I thought
Uh-huh.
it came out really weird. And I have a hard time with composition sometimes in photos like this.
Uh-huh.
And so I thought, well, it's like the distortion filter in Photoshop. I wanted to see what it would do, and that was what
Mm.
came out.
Oh.
So you
And I-
introduced another background. It's not the real
Well,
background.
No, actually, the filter effect.
Well, I selected the flowers out
Uh-huh.
and then created a new layer
Mm.
Uh-huh.
and then did a distortion on the flowers.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yep.
Interesting.
No, fun.
Oh.
And that was another with the glass ball
Oh.
thing.
Oh, that's nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah.
That is a good composition, Susan.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. And that's where I have a hard time with sometimes this composition on this type of thing.
Yeah.
And I know glass ball things are kind of weird. And you know, they come up upside down and all that. I just like the distortion that they do.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's nice. I would maybe soften or work on your mask just a little bit in these areas. So it's somehow it's either bleeding in or out. If you still have it in layers, it's easy enough to do with a little brush. You just go around and get rid of that. If you,
Yeah, 'cause I usually do things in layers. That way, if I don't like that layer, I can.
yeah. So if you
Move it up.
saved it in layers, it's easy to fix. If you didn't, you could clone this background loop into it. But if you already have it in layers, then that's an easy fix. But yeah, just keep an eye on that kind of thing.
You know, it's interesting that you used the ball because just last night I was reading something about it, and this one photographer who was using it, who wrote the article, flipped it upside down. And so that the flowers in the ball, instead of being upside down, they were right side up, and then the rest of the stuff around it that it took the picture was underneath. It was interesting.
Yeah, I've
Mhm.
seen that where they do the lens ball photography and then they
Yeah.
flip the photo.
Yeah,
And
Hmm.
it's kind of cool, I think.
I would have never thought to do that had I not just read it. Very nice.
Yeah, looks good. Okay. Well, no, you're next.
Yeah. Okay.
Thanks for bringing those in, Susan.
Okay. For these, at least a couple of them, I kind of worked on a presentation approach. I liked this image itself, but a lot of the detail along the edge of the water and the base of the rocks there wasn't that interesting in the straight photo. So I used a topaz filter, which it's called the watercolored lady, but it produced what I liked as the image. It made everything kind of blend into soft lines and maintain the overall format of the composition. And didn't do a whole lot of other with it in Photoshop. But when it came to the frame, I did that in Photoshop, making separate layers for the matting. And I did something that Sandy had suggested a couple of years ago, as I recall. I put in a texture layer above my white matte layer, and then backed off the opacity of the texture, so it's on my screen. It doesn't show up too much, but it's got a kind of a plastery wall texture to it on the matte part. And then I used yet another layer to produce that frame around it. So that's and well, I used the gray color so it would stand out. I started with a black frame, but then I figured that's going to disappear into the background of the screen here. So I went to the gray, and also have a very similar gray on the what would be a bevel on the matte opening.
Mhm.
So this was in California, the Carmel area.
Wendell, is there a person on the beach there?
No, not that I knew of.
Those are flowers, or
Yeah, it's flowers and other plants. And then kind of the foreground is just, I think, stuff like growth on the rocks at the tide line. So
I really like this
Nice.
one, though.
like it a lot.
Yeah.
Nice. So Wendell, when you were visualizing this texture, was it in layers?
Yes.
Sometimes when you go to flatten, it gets darker. So what you can do is you can pick this layer and layer underneath it, and hit Command E to sandwich them together. And if it's too dark, just do an undo and then change the opacity and do that until you get it where you want it. So when you flatten everything, it'll be exactly the way you want it.
What was that?
All right. So
the E.
when you flatten opacity, sometimes they get darker than they visualize when you're looking at them. So a way to test it is to take the layer that your texture's on and the one behind it, this white or whatever it is, and just select both of those layers together. But on both with this, Shift key or Command key, and then if you use Command E or to
Control E,
Control E to do the layers together. That'll flatten those two layers, and you'll see what's going to happen. If it's too dark, then just do an undo and change the opacity and go back and forth doing that until you get it where you want it. Surprises when you go to layer. It's even more so when it's subtle stuff. Like I used to do, 5 or 10% shadows under things on white. And it would look more like 50% when that's not what I wanted. So it's a good way to do that.
Kind of lock together the two texture and the background layer.
It happens even more so if this area is checkerboarded behind you. So the other thing I've done is I've taken that checkerboard and I made them. I think there's a preference where you can just turn that off. But in the old days when you couldn't, you just make them both white, and then get the checkerboard, and you'll have that false white behind you. Or you can take a layer at the bottom, just make a new layer and fill it with white, which might be easier than you'll have to worry about your preferences. And then that way it'll kind of show you how it's going to end up.
This photo wouldn't be half as good if it wasn't balanced. That little land on the right side, that balance is,
and the little bit of blue sky up there.
Exactly.
And it's you're running it here, and then here. It just kind of runs you back through. From the front to back.
Wendell, are you represented by a Carmel art gallery? Because you should be. I mean, you got all
Well,
that local Carmel
yeah,
subject matter. You're fantastic.
yeah. Well,
You should.
well, I, they do have a nice photo center there, and it's not very big, but I've seen some interesting things in that.
Yeah.
One of our favorite places because it is a photography only venue. But anyway, well, I guess I could
I
take
mean,
somebody along, show them.
this image right here would be a wonderful take-home souvenir if you visit Carmel. You know, it's a
Yeah.
lovely. You just want to be there.
Yeah. Well, that's a thought.
Yeah.
You can make postcards or
Yeah.
Well,
uh,
yeah,
cards. and-
Postcards.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Well,
look at that.
okay. This again, down that part of Carmel, this old stone house, which I was playing with it to try to make it look threatening, like the Wicked Witch house in the middle of the forest, waiting for Hansel and Gretel. So I used a pretty heavy vignette on it, and then to get this odd color is a topaz decaying laurels preset
Oh, no.
that it's probably in the grunge set of filters, but anyway, it makes everything look like it's moldy.
Yeah, it drained out the light.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you got a lot of light in the image, but it
yeah.
drained out the natural light.
Yeah, it was much sharper and everything in the original, and then darkening the edges kind of made it a little more ominous looking.
Yeah.
Too. So anyway, I just thought that old stone house kind of fit that scenario that I was dreaming of.
Yeah, it looks a little forbidding, you know.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
want to be careful about the witch that lives inside.
His spouse might have quite an oven or fireplace there.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. This again is kind of a presentation thing. This is up on the Columbia River up toward Canada. And this is a painterly effect. The Happy Little Trees topaz preset that gave me this look. I did some work on it in Photoshop beforehand to darken the sky and darken up the mountains a little bit to stand out better. But then the preset gave the nice soft watercolor look. I'd say it most resembles. So, and then I used Photoshop for the frame. I think this one was just using the image size and the canvas size to create the mat and the frame, just using different colors. It's not separate layers. But
Nice.
Anyway,
Very nice.
well, thank you. But I did like the way the hills came down to the point there in the middle and kind of pointed toward the mountain range in the background.
Mm-hmm.
This is looking pretty much south.
Nice.
Okay. This was up in Canada. This was an old locomotive, and this is another presentation thing that I was experimenting with. I put this little picture at the bottom, which is the entire locomotive, to kind of give a sense of where the big image came from. But the bigger image, the detail of the wheel, and it looks like a little piston off to the right, possibly for the brakes. You can see a brake shoe on the wheel there. And so this was in Lightroom using their looking for the BW11 was the filter or the preset that I used on this, which gave a pretty dark sepia tone to it. But I thought it worked out well with the kind of rough metal and gave good texture on it.
It looks like an old silver nitrate print.
Oh,
A la
okay.
Ansel Adams,
Oh.
Edward Weston. I
Mm,
mean, it's beautiful tone, metal tone,
yeah,
silver,
yeah.
silver nitrate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that
Okay.
texture, Wendell, was there originally. You
Yeah,
add
there
that in.
was a lot of texture on the old cast iron. Most of it is, I guess. But that did
So,
definitely bring it out.
Wendell, you said this is a presentation piece. Is it going in a museum, or you have to explain
no.
something?
Oh, well, it's just the way I was trying to present the image, the big detail image, and give it a little bit of an atmosphere or where it came from with the little thing. No, it's not going to anywhere else. It's just
So
my
this
idea.
train is parked up in the mountains somewhere, huh?
Yeah, it's got
Oh,
trees
because
and
I'm
stuff
now I'm
going.
looking at this image now. It's up there in nature, huh?
Yeah, yeah. It's uh, can't can't think of the name of the town. It's a little mining town in southern British Columbia, up in the hills. It's no longer mining, but these friends took us up there, and they had this old locomotive, which they had used it to haul ore out of the mines up there. But anyway, it's quite an
And
interesting little town.
It looks like maybe they're afraid someone's going to steal the train. They got the wheel chain down.
Yeah. Yeah, probably also to
Right.
keep it from running down the hill.
Oh, okay.
They're kind of like
Oh
a
boy,
truck.
that'd be something, a runaway
Yeah.
train.
Yeah. The only thing I would
Nice.
do is match your tones here.
Well, yeah, I intentionally did that. I'm not sure why, but I
Okay.
did leave the original one just straight black and white, and then did go to the sepia tone on
Yeah.
the
I don't know,
other.
just preset would work, or whoops,
Yeah.
sorry, must have clicked something.
Yeah.
If the sepia
Yeah.
preset would work, if not, you could just box that off and color correct it pretty easy.
Yeah.
You know, the match.
Wow, Sandy.
One
Yeah.
right next to the other, but yeah, I think they
Yeah.
would look serious appearance.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It crossed my mind, but I decided to leave it the way it was, just for the heck of it.
Right.
Okay.
Pretty.
Yeah. This is same area near New Denver, British Columbia. This is Slocan Lake. And we were on a boat crossing off to a little beach on the other side of the lake. And I just happened to catch this with the little ripples that reflected the light, and the background hills going into fog, which might actually have been smoke at that time. But anyway, it was quite a pretty setting there. Just lots of trees and water, which is something we're not used to down here.
Yeah, really.
And
Especially water.
Very ethereal.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe taking some of this bottom up might.
oh, we moved, cutting it up. Yeah.
Yeah, kind of more of a.
Yeah.
More of a horizontal type of thing like that.
Yeah.
Could go
Yeah.
either.
Yeah.
It's good, Sandy.
Might
Yeah.
want to do something. Whoops. I keep hitting that center button. Sorry about that. Let me make that a little smaller. Oh, there we go.
More of a rectangle.
Yeah.
Yeah. More
Yeah.
Excellent.
kind of cinema crop, you know, cinematic crop. Yeah, that's really pretty.
Yeah. Now I did use the linear gradient at the bottom to darken that a little bit to kind of keep the eye toward the middle.
Yeah.
This has a Lightroom BW04 preset, which gave a rather unique greenish tint to it. I don't know how much is showing up on your screen.
Oh,
but
I can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which I thought with all those green trees, that was appropriate.
Yeah.
Unusual color. It's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. Oh,
Nice. Yeah, those presets are fun. I like the way you can just mouse over them and they change too. You know?
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you can stare at an image like this, Wendell, and the tranquility
Yeah.
is transcendent. You get a little hypnotized a little bit.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. I
Huh?
was even tranquility had passed through
Yeah.
my mind as a title for it.
Oh, there you go. Well, then that speaks, because that's what I'm getting out of it, you know?
Yeah.
You know,
And you get a little hypnotized. You're
Yeah.
in there, you know?
Yeah.
very cool.
Very good.
Okay.
Nice. All right. Well, I was in Colorado for a while and
Yeah.
went down to the springs to Garden of the Gods.
Oh, okay.
Places to walk around. So let's look at that first.
Wow.
Actually went to the visitor center, which I hadn't done before.
Hmm.
You
Yeah.
know, it's been there for years, but
Yeah.
out on the balcony there you can get a nice panoramic overview of the
Yeah.
park.
Is that one a stitched panel, Sandy?
Yeah, that's about 3 of them.
3 of them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then Pikes Peak in the background.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's kind of fun.
Interesting.
Got the kissing camels up here, which I'll show more in detail later.
Hmm. Oh, yeah.
It seems that the one on the right, the head is part of it has fallen off, but we'll get to that in a bit.
Uh-huh.
So I did shoot a lot of whole pieces of the whole rocks, but I kind of found these tighter ones a little more interesting. So that's what I'm just
Yeah.
gonna show today. Although I do have one, I think on the way out, where we got all the vertical blades, which are kind of fun, but I just like the growth and the fact that these things actually can actually
Yeah.
grow from rocks like that.
Yeah.
It'd be amazing.
It's got a snake slithering down. to
Yeah.
the left.
Yeah.
You saw that. I saw that.
Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. This one you got
Oh, yeah.
kind of a green belt coming
Mhm.
out here.
Yeah.
And all the crevices. I thought that was kind of fun. And then that's the kissing camels, and I guess
Oh,
this
yeah. Yeah.
It sure is.
Yeah.
I know years ago.
It sure is.
Yeah. So that was kind of a shame, but kind
Yeah.
of like the fingers up on the mountains here. I guess the one of the fingers kind of fell down on the Catalinas.
Hmm.
And yeah, there's the
Oh, look at
Yeah.
that.
rocks
Yeah.
on the way out. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if you haven't been, I highly recommend going there. It's
Yeah.
right in Colorado Springs, easy to get
Yeah.
to.
Yeah. I spent quite a bit of time out there myself.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
Wow.
a nice place.
Yeah.
Wait, Sandy, wait a minute. Was someone up at the top over here, or someone climb up there at that peak?
Oh, here?
Oh, on this side, on the other side of the picture, right
Over
side.
here?
Yeah, is that a
Uh,
person up there?
I don't think so. Some birds there.
Okay.
Yeah.
They do have a couple of climbing areas, though.
Yeah.
Go if you've got the right equipment, with the pinions and ropes and so forth.
Yeah, better be a good climber to get up those things.
Yeah.
That's for sure. And then one of the back trails we took, there was this distressed tree I really liked.
Mm,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like it this way or in black and white. What do you guys think?
Ooh,
I like the black and white.
wow.
Yeah.
I like the black and white too.
Black and white.
Yeah.
Very dramatic.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think black and white wins. So
Yeah.
a little snappier, and I
Yeah.
left this area bright and darkened the rest a little bit to bring it
Wow,
out.
that's really
It's-
neat.
Yeah.
It's like a spooky creature or something
Yeah.
from the deep, you know.
Yeah,
I love it.
that's
Yeah.
neat, Sandy.
Yeah.
Thanks. Then
Uh-huh.
Oh.
my little juvenile Cooper's hawk came back to visit the other day and left the feather. So I
Oh.
shot
And the
the
water
variations.
droplets on there.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's floating in the pond, and
Mm.
I
Yeah.
take a couple of shots of it, and
Yeah.
again, I decided between color and black and white on these, but I've got 3 or 4 of them I want to make a triptych out of.
Mm.
Wow,
Oh.
look at that. Can you click it to the black and white on this for a second?
Yeah, I think there's black and white on it.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the black and white?
Yeah,
That's amazing.
Color
Yeah.
and black and white.
Uh-huh. Wow.
Yeah, so I'm not sure which way to go on that because the colors are really subtle.
Yeah.
So
Color.
Is that a macro lens
no,
that you're
actually,
using?
it was my 100 to 400 because I was trying to get a shot of him, but he took off on me. Yeah, I just focused as close as I could with it. I think it goes up to a couple feet, and I was able to get it that way.
Huh.
Here's another variation.
Isn't it cool that
Ooh.
sometimes, just sometimes, something like
Yeah.
this comes along
Yeah.
and you look at it and you say, I need to photograph this,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know?
Just catches your eye.
Yeah,
Mhm.
for sure.
Yeah.
So I did a few variations on it. I guess
Nice.
trying to figure out what I'm going to do for a triptych. So I'm looking at got 4 of these here. Let's just take a look here. Let's tab out. There we go. I'm not sure which of these 4 I'm going to use because I
Yeah.
just
I like the bottom left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's a
I
good
think
one.
this would be the center one,
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
and then
Yeah.
and I think that could probably be the left. One of these 2. I'm not sure which one.
Yeah.
This would be the right. So
Cindy, maybe you
Yeah.
could rotate one of these to see
yeah, I
for
could.
the bookends.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could. I'm just wondering if
You know what? Why don't you use this wonderful one right here and rotate it?
Maybe it would work like that.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure at this point. The other option would be, I don't know.
Try to use the 3 with similar backgrounds, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just me, but
yeah. Well, I could color correct it for.
oh,
Yeah.
I forget you could do
Just
fancy
trying to
things.
look at the composition at this point. And then I'm going to take one of them and make it big as well.
Yeah.
I'm thinking probably this guy here
Yeah.
wins that.
Wow.
Yeah, they're all
Is that a reflection there, Sandy?
Yeah.
On the left? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and I guess there's some water on the bottom of it,
Yeah.
little droplets. So that was kind of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Well,
So there's that. Let me pull up a browser here, and one of my photo friends in Florida sends out stuff for information every once in a while. And this one came kind of timely because Lori, you had sent me that email asking about fine art and what to do to get your pictures looking better and so on. And this particular video, I think, might help you and everybody else out. So let's take a quick look.
At a certain point in
Is
our
that playing
photographic
okay?
journey, we all
Mhm.
bring realization that there is so much more to making great photographs than just knowing how to use the camera really, really well. That combined with our craft, it is our use of the visual language or composition that is responsible for the best photographs. So because composition is something that can be learned, I want to give you 3 ideas, 3 steps you can take right now to begin improving your compositions. And while this is totally actionable stuff you can do, I'm going to talk about it in terms of how we think. Because if we can change the way we think, we can change the way we make photographs. That's where it begins. All right, here we go. Thing number 1, begin to think in terms of the heart of the photograph. Ask yourself what one thing the photograph is about and how it will connect to someone looking at your photograph. What is the emotional core? I wonder if a lot of our photographs fail simply because they don't have a heart. Or they do, but it's way too spread out around the image. It's like you're saying, look at this, and we're all trying really hard, but you haven't made specific choices to isolate that one thing and make it as strong as possible. I know we all love photographs, but they can only do so much. They can only carry so much information before they just fall apart for lack of impact. I'm not sure the usual wisdom of fill the frame is really great advice because like most platitudes, it gets misunderstood as saying something it's not. I would rather teach people just to really maximize one thing, one feeling or mood, one story, one juxtaposition or gesture. Figure that out and then eliminate everything that is not that or doesn't help to express that. Here are two examples. In this image from Venice, the heart of the image for me was the contrast between the man outside and the man inside. Every decision I made had to support that. That's why the frame is divided. It's why I used a wide lens. That's why I stood where I did and moved my point of view to exclude everything else. And in part, it's why I made the choices I did in Lightroom, warming the left slightly and cooling the right. In this image, it was the figure in the beam of light that mattered, and the contrast, the smoke in the sky, that determined my exposure and my choices about what to leave in and leave out, or which moment to choose. Figure out what the heart of your image is, and you'll be much closer to being able to make decisions about how to best show that in the final photograph. Okay, thing number 2 you can do to immediately begin making stronger compositions. Think in terms of energy. The eye gets pulled around a photograph, but do you know how? Are you aware of it? We respond to visually energetic photographs. It's not the only way to make a great image, but it's a good start. And we have so much control over the elements in the frame in order to create or control that energy. We can make lines more energetic by moving our perspective and making them diagonal instead of straight. We can position elements so they follow along the primary diagonal of the image from top left to bottom right, instead of more horizontally. Horizontal lines are great for a lot of things, but creating a feeling of visual energy isn't one of them. You can start playing with wide-angle lenses too, because they exaggerate the energy of diagonal lines, especially if you get in nice and close. Your use of color can bring energy to an image as well, and the opposite of all of this is also true. If you want really serene images that give us a powerful sense of calm, then minimizing the elements I've discussed can do that. Begin to ask yourself, how can I give this photograph more or less energy? Often it's just moving in a little or to the left or the right. If I could get photographers to move more, to explore the scene before they hunker down with their tripods, they would see immediate changes in their images. Begin composing with energy in mind, asking yourself, how can I make this more dynamic in terms of my lines, is a great move forward toward more compelling compositions. And finally, thing number 3 is this. Put down the latest Nikon or Fuji catalog for a while and pick up a book of photographs. The best way to learn to make better, stronger, more compelling compositions is to study better, stronger, more compelling photographs. Look at them, study them, really read the images. We're so used to consuming photographs quickly. We look, we like, we click, we move on. That might be because we're looking at a great many photographs that are as uninspiring as they are uninspired. But it's also just become a habit, and it's no way to learn about photographs. The way to learn is to really spend time, to look for hidden details, to ask what we feel or think about it and why, to ask what elements we see there, what kind of contrasts, what kind of stories or repeated elements. How did the photographer create such depth, such tension? All of this stuff teaches us. It expands our vocabulary and gives us new possibilities. It gives us new challenges and new ways to jump the ruts that we get in. And most importantly, it gives us the same tools which the master photographers of the last 100 years have used. Not the cameras and the lenses, but the visual language. It's not hard stuff. It's just that no one talks about it. I want to talk about it. Studying great photographs and asking yourself what makes them so compelling will get you yet another step closer to more captivating images. In a few days, I'll send you a quickie.
Okay. Well, I think he's pretty much summed up what we've been going over, consciously or not, over this summer session and before. One thing I used to do was show images of people that inspired me and so on, and I haven't done that for a while, but I think my early inspiration was Pete Turner, which guys might recognize from the 60s. This was all film-based back then, not digital. So this is all done in the camera.
Oh,
And he did a lot of color stuff. This
Mm.
probably one of the more iconic images.
Mm.
You can see this was from a long time ago. And another person was Eric Miola.
Mm.
And you can go through some of his stuff. I'll put these links out for you when I do the replay. And he did a lot of abstracts too, which are kind of interesting.
Mm.
And of course, Jay Mizell, you guys might have heard of.
Mm. Yeah.
Oh yeah,
But
Jay
he
Mizell's great.
And very simplistic, but very succinct. I mean, you can see the way the eye would travel through this image.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of collections. You can go nuts here. Each one of them has 40 to 50 images in it. So,
do you know if the library carries some of these?
you can just do this online. Yeah, you might be able to find the books themselves. There are books online where you can get the names of them and then go look in the library and find out.
Okay.
Mm.
There's a lot of Jay Maisel on YouTube. If you guys watch YouTube.
Yeah.
The reason I asked about the books is because you could linger, you could touch it, you could look
Oh
at
yeah.
it, you could move it.
Books are great. Yeah.
And you could go back to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you can do the same here. Of course, he always has a little lead-in text and then the images. And then if you want to go back and forth, you've got this grid to see everything that's in that particular group. And then just pick one, come back here.
Incredible.
You know, pick another if you don't want to go through the whole thing at once chronologically. Or you can set it up the way he intended you to view it and just go through it. But I think there's a lot you can gain from looking at these three photographers and a lot of others as well. I think that's a good point that I haven't brought up lately is to keep looking at other people's work and see what excites you and incorporate it into your own. So let me
Sandy, this was a friend of yours, the video you showed us?
No, actually, a friend of mine sent me this link for this video.
Oh, okay.
And
this
it was kind of interesting that he hit the things I keep trying to drive home. So I thought, it'd be good to have maybe just show it in class today. So I'll send you a link to this too.
Sandy, I had a question. Could you pull it up? Just Sandy, this is a remarkable grip on this Pentax here. What
Yeah.
I mean, what does he swing it around in the street photography?
I actually had one of those back in the day, and you needed that grip. That thing weighed a ton. It took 120 roll film.
Oh.
It was like an SLR, but huge.
Yeah.
I mean, you can look at that next to this.
The camera's very heavy.
Yeah, let me just get back into here. If you look at this Nikon with a motor drive on it, it's smaller than this. Okay, give you some idea of what that thing weighed. Yeah, that was quite a camera.
Yeah.
Forearms in shape for that one.
Uh-huh.
All righty, let me just
Thanks for doing that, Sandy.
sure, my pleasure.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Hey,